Hey, it's Friday and you're watching The Biggest Beauty Project. This week, Caitlin wanted us to talk about this Tumblr post about thin privilege, and I think it's a really interesting topic. I think it's really important to think about what kind of privilege you have, even if you don't have thin privilege. You may have some other ones, and I think privilege is a really important thing to think about and to talk about, because if you have a certain type of privilege, you may not always think about it. I remember when I first learned about different types of privileges in college, I just wanted to go around and apologize to people, but of course, that's not really gonna do anything because it's a societal thing. All you can do is not be a jerk. If you have a certain type of privilege, just be mindful of that, be aware of that when you're interacting with other people, because we're all different. We've all had different lives, we're all on different paths, and that's important to keep in mind. Just so you don't end up upsetting someone or offending someone, it's really important to remember that we're all different and we all experience the world differently. While I'm familiar with thin privilege, I know what it is. I've not seen this particular post before. Caitlin sent it to us. It was posted on a blog called Hey Fat Chick, so it seems to be about, fat acceptance and that kind of thing. And the original poster, I checked out her blog as well, and she also seemed to have a similar blog about fat acceptance and different things like that. But it's a list by plus size women or a plus size woman about thin privilege, kind of defining it. One thing I wanted to address was that there's not just size thin and size fat. I recently saw another Tumblr post where a lady said that a woman who wears a size 4 has privilege that a woman who wears a size 14 does not, who in turn has privilege that a woman who wears a size 24 does not. So it's important to think about how they're not just thin people and fat people, they're people of all different shapes and sizes. I did identify with some of the things on the list, like I have had experiences where, I've been worried if I'm going to fit in a certain place because of the size of my body. When I'm talking about my body, I have to worry about what other people are thinking or comments that my friends or family members are gonna make. Some of these I experience now, some of these I have experienced in the past, and some of these I never have, and I think that's important to know that just because there's a checklist like this, that doesn't mean that these apply to all fat people. Everyone's had different experience in life, everyone has different thoughts and feelings, so just because you have a friend who is fat doesn't mean that she, feels all these things or has experienced all these things. It's just things to be mindful of. And of course, there are always things to add. There are several things that I would add to this checklist that are not on there. I know it addressed talking about the size of your body a few times, but when a thin person talks about the size of their body, people express envy or, ask how they got to look a certain way. But when I talk about the size of my body, as being fat and describe myself as fat, not in a negative way, just as a descriptive word, because, I'm an obese person, and sometimes I describe myself as fat, and I did to this person and she freaked out. Oh my gosh, you're not fat, no. What she's saying is you're not all the negative things that I associate with the word fat, but I identify as fat. That's a word I use to describe myself, and I am, like I said, I'm an obese person. It is not okay for someone who's underweight or of average weight to describe themselves as fat or to identify as fat. If you're overweight or obese like me, then that's okay. You can use that word to describe yourself, and when you tell me that I'm not, you're telling me that I can't associate with that and I can't define myself as that, and you're defining my self-image, which is not okay. Basically, what I've taken away from this list is be nice to people, don't treat people a certain way just because of their size. If you are a thin person, just be mindful of what you say to your friends who are plus size. And in turn, if you're a bigger girl, be mindful of what you say to your thin friends. For example, you wouldn't want somebody to tell you to go to a gym fatty or go eat a salad. In turn, don't tell your thin friend to eat a sandwich or something, because that's offensive too, because maybe they're just naturally thin, and if they do have a problem, you telling them to eat isn't gonna make it any better. So basically, just be nice to people and be mindful of your privilege, any that you may have. Girls, Samantha, I hope you're doing well with your braces. That's tough. I know you said, your mouth was kind of hurting you. It should get better. I know at first it's super painful, but it should be getting better. I'm sorry. I really hope you're doing better with that. Amy, you're fabulous. I'm sorry that you had trouble during our live chat earlier this week, but it was kind of funny because you sound like a Dalek, and I know it's just your internet, so I'm sorry that your internet's a fail. Kelly, I love getting your texts about Doctor Who when you find out different things. It's always really funny, and I'm glad you're enjoying the show so much. I'm glad you're liking Matt Smith more. Caitlin, I heart you, Nerds in a Pod for life. I really loved getting to meet your corgi online this week. You know how much I love corgis, so that was awesome. I also hope you've gotten caught up on Doctor Who, because I know you said you're behind, and text me when you watch them because I want to talk about it. I hope all you girls are doing okay. Viewers, hope everyone's doing good. Everyone have a safe, happy, healthy weekend, and I will see you all next week. Bye.